Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell. Welcome to 10,000 and Below. This is a video series where I'm going through the lowest rated games on Board Game Geek, starting from 10,000 and going down into the depths. Today we're pretty far down. We're at 16,501 and continuing to delve farther. And in fact, today is the first one in a while where when I quickly glance at it, I don't look at it in depth before I do it. I didn't see any games I liked. But maybe there is, and I've just missed them. But there's definitely games here I played, so let's take a look and see what we can find. So whenever we take a look at these, we always take a look at the first one. So in this case, Dino Dice. Unita, this one I reviewed back in 2014, gave a 4 to Uno Family Guy. Who wants to play that? This game called Garfield. I want to take a look at that. Creature Clash card game has 243 reviews. There's Dino Dice, and here's Dog Dice. Apparently, Dino Dice is better than Dog Dice. And well, I like the name of this one, Falling Coin. We'll take a look at that one. Night of the Ill-Tempered Squirrel. All right, let's take a look at these first ones here. So Dino Dice. This is from Will Niebling. Will Niebling has his son actually is done many rules rewrites. One of the best rules writer in the business. So this one here is from Copwell Games. Will works with Copwell Games. It looks like it's just a dice game, trying to roll various dice. These are not bad dice, especially for when this game came out. That's a bad packaging. I really dislike that packaging a lot. But, it's probably just a really light dice game. Doesn't come with those skeletons, although that would be cool. All right, Unita. This here is from Helvetia Games. And I have to say, I remember pretty much that I disliked most of the games this company made, which is unfortunate. This one here at these paths, you're putting dice on these paths, and you see these paths all go in the middle, and there's different colored dice that deal with the different elements, and it looks neat. I just remember the rules were pretty bad throughout. Those are really, it has a neat look to it, very abstract though. Garfield, it's based on the comic strip, and you have to follow the instructions on Garfield's thought bubbles. Roll one die, move backwards. Everyone add 3 to their roll. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is just basically making a dumb game and putting Garfield's name on it. Creature Clash card game. Now, this one's interesting because this one has a lot of ratings. It was later released as Creature Clash. And you are trying to make creatures from your hand. Well, I like the idea of making creatures. This is a cool concept, right? And you can see right away one of the problems with this is not great artwork. This is very cartoony, and it's not like great cartoony. So when you put this together, you just have a weird cartoony drawn. I mean, this looks like art from the back of a notebook in class. But, man, I sympathize with how this looks. Dog Dice. The Dog Dice are over. This one's done by the Stamplers and done by GameRight, 1997. Also has some nice looking dice there. Doggone. The red board. I don't even know how this game plays. I guess you need to roll dice and find the right spot to put it on the board. Falling Coin, Homo Sapiens Lab. It's a micro game with only 13 cards. And I'm going to guess that, no, I was going to say maybe it just is, it's lowly rated because of not having many ratings, but there's a lot of low ratings on this one. Oh, it's a dexterity game. A micro dexterity game. Yeah, that doesn't actually appeal to me either. Alrighty, let's continue and see what else we might find here. Magma Monster. Let's take a look at that one. Monopoly, My Little Pony. Pandemonium. Gearworld, The Borderlands. Yep, I gave that one a 3. And yep, we're going to talk about that for sure. Chipweeder and Flock. Wow. Alrighty. Magma Monster. Oh, it's another Lego game. Man, how many of these Lego games? I thought there was like 8. Apparently there's more of them, and apparently I'm pretty good at finding them because the titles sound interesting. Many of these must have only been released in Europe. This doesn't even look like a good game here, but still would have probably played it because it's Lego. Pandemonium. This is good reflexes and a good memory. There's like 16 adults and like, nope, and they're out. I do like how the cards look. Apparently there's rabbits. It must have been called something different because that would make... Oh, Concerto Grosso was the original name of it. Pandemonium. This is from Game Right. So you got to... Whatever they're doing, and then you have to mimic it, I guess. Interesting. So I see that there's 3 different ways there. There's the guy leading the music. There's the guy singing. And then there's the woman singing. It's not over. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. All right, so Gearworld, the Borderlands. I thought I would love this game. This game is made by the same 3 designers who made both Dune and Cosmic Encounter. In fact, this was like a trilogy of games that came back. This was a re-release of this game from Fantasy Flight Games, probably part of a deal they made with these guys. And wow, did I dislike this. And I am not even close to alone on this. You can see here that this game is ranked very low. And you would think that it looks kind of cool. It looks like a, people on a map fighting style game and getting resources, but it's slow, it's boring, it's post-apocalyptic. Well, I don't think it was post-apocalyptic in the beginning, but wow, I dislike this game. Everyone I played it with disliked this game. It's really unfortunate because I was really expecting to like it more. Chip Leader. This is an Odonaut game. Man, there's something about these Odonaut games. I know that they made this little, these Odonaut things. And this one, these games just don't score very highly. I gave this one a 4. And I'm struggling to remember what the game's even about, honestly. You're gambling and getting casino chips. Oh, to take that game. Flock. Now, I remember when this game was first announced, I was very excited about it because that's a really cool cover. I like the idea of birds, and they were slightly ahead of the time. This was before Wingspan came out. You can see the cards look really cool. There's, nice wooden bird pieces. Again, this was kind of ahead of its time. But man, I mean, we're just looking at this, and I'm really enjoying the look and feel of this game. But it was not a fun game. You're just trying to make your flock get bigger by playing these different cards, and again, it feels like it feels like the game would have been more interesting, but it was really boring, unfortunately. And then let's look at some of the ratings here. It felt like it wanted to be strategic without having any space to actually strategize. Yeah, I agree, right? The game's far too quick. Like, you're going to take these actions, and it feels like you're going to be building an engine, and then you don't, and then the game's over, and you're like, well, what did I do? So one of the most boring games. Yeah, boring. It's really unfortunate because, again, I really wanted to like this game. Monopoly Las Vegas, Hexxagon, Dwarven Dig, Monopoly, the Beatles Collector's Edition. Man, there's so many Monopolies. I do think it's interesting that there's a lot of Monopolies all in separate categories, while other games there's not. I'm not sure if that should be there. Knock Knock. Oh, I know what that game's about. Last Letter, Hook, and Blurt. Well, that's several games to take a look at. Here we go. Starting with Hexxagon. This is very obviously a abstract strategy. It does not look that great, frankly. Oh, they're playing with an Othello board? Or can you play Othello and this at the same time? Dwarven Dig. I remember this one. Did I never play it, huh? I really wanted to play this one. I remember when it came out. Bucephalus Games was one of the companies, and Kenzer & Company. Kenzer & Company does not make many board games. They're mostly known for their comics and then the role-playing stuff. And this was one of the board games and I was excited to try it out, and I never did. Came out in 2003. Obviously not a very popular game. But I like the look of it a little bit. Little dwarven miniatures and tiles. Those are really little miniatures. NASCAR Champions with Stephen Bonacore on the cover. No, it's not Stephen Bonacore. Just NASCAR Champions. This is an older racing game. This just cracks me up. That it's like the when you go back here, it feels like the NASCAR racers are getting their revenge. If I have to walk around with advertisements plastered all over me, my car, the games that's made on us will have our advertisements plastered all over them. All right, not a very highly ranked racing game. It's like Daytona 500, they say. It's a very simple game. I'd probably give it a whirl. Five Alive, an abstract card game. You each start with 5 lives, and you're playing a card. Oh, and you don't want to go over 21. Okay, so it's close to 99 in games like that. You just don't want to go over 21. Super 5. 5 Alive. 5 chances to win. Sounds like a casino. Knock Knock. So the Bruno Fiduti was part of this one here. And this one's simply, you have people coming to your house, and I say, here's someone coming to your house, and you say, I want them to come to my house or not. Very similar to Cockroach Poker. Very similar to Cockroach Poker. Jolly Roger Games was the person who made this, and that probably did not help it because the quality's not that fantastic. I'm surprised it's ranked this low, though. I didn't hate the game. I gave it a 6, as you can see, but Last Letter. There's probably several games Last Letter. You have cards. You have to name something on the card, and the first letter of that word matches the last letter of the thing previously named. Okay, so I've known people play this game with countries of the world, like I'll say Argentina, the next person says Angola, and then you realize a lot of countries that start with A also end in A, and the game kind of breaks. These cards themselves almost look like Dixit-style cards. I wonder if they're Dixit-sized. They're probably not. Huh. I would get these cards, though. I wonder what the size of the cards are. If these are Dixit-sized cards, this came out in 2014. They do look like Dixit-sized cards. Interesting. I'm going to have to hunt this game down now. Hook. Hook, players are under attack, and hook, you have square holes with cards in. That's where your cannonballs, oh yes, that's right. So you're trying to basically line these different cards up on top of the pirates to show where cannonballs are going to hit and hit the pirates. It's a really cool concept, and at the end, it just doesn't really pay out. It's an okay game, but I do like that concept of stuff with holes in it. I don't know why. Blurt, very popular party game. This has been out for a long time. You'll read an actual definition of a word, and you board out the word that matches that thing. Very, like I said, very popular party game, but not one that gamers like a lot very much, and that includes me. All right, let's see what we can find else here as we go through this list. Brainbox World. The Brainbox games are pretty interesting, but I don't think they're great games per se. Let's take a look at Burger Battle from 1990. This one has 109 ratings. Fantasia, Black Rock City, Food Chain, Star Trek the Card Game. We're not taking a look at Uno SpongeBob SquarePants. And Balance of Power. Ooh. All right, here we go. Burger Battle. Well, if there's a fly in your burger, I don't want it anymore. But that is definitely an evocative cover. That is a burger. I don't know why the fly is there. Ketchup, mustard, pickles, peppers, mushrooms, onions, lettuce, tomato, bacon, cheese. Hackmack. I like that name. Alrighty. Well, this is from Germany. Tom Schops. You're piling on ingredients as you pass it around. When you put a top on it, make it your burger. Oh, okay. So it's a push your luck style game, or what do you call these games? Where you try to be the first person to pull the trigger. Fantasia SA. Well, these cards themselves, that guy looks very smug. It's a card game where you're medieval knights trying to get the best sponsorships. Well, it doesn't have a lot of buzz. Black Rock City. I do not like that cover. Black Rock City, you're outlaws. Do you remember this one? There's a stagecoach, and you're all going to be moving that stagecoach around and attacking things. The components are not great, which is unfortunate. I don't know if I really like that artwork much either. But it's almost too messy for what the game is. Too chaotic. Food Chain. I don't have this one rated, but I feel like I reviewed it. I did review it. Maybe I do like this one. I thought I liked this one. You are creating food chains. Eat the food, leave the food, swap one card. Maybe I didn't like it. It's been a long time since I played this one. Some of the brain games are better than others. You can see which animals eat which ones here. I think I'm thinking of a different game that was the one I liked. Well, I'm going to have to go back and look at this and rank it at some point, but I don't think it was great. Star Trek the card game from 1996. This is from Fleer Skybox. This is a CCG, but this is not the much more popular one from Decipher. This one came out around the same time, but this one never took off. Partially probably because it has some really bad graphic layout, and man, the back... Oh, Shirtless Kirk. What? I think this was a simpler game than the Decipher one. All right, Pex Vogel. This is in the same. Doris Mathau did the artwork. This is in that same category as Heckmack and all those. Zoc made a lot of games about birds. Bad luck game. You try to roll 4 identical numbers, but if you throw 3 ravens, your turn's over. And if that happens, you get a token, but you can use those tokens to mess up other people. That sounds like a kid's game more than anything else. Balance of Power. This is from Catalyst Games Lab. Balance of Power was the game that actually put me in pretty good with Catalyst, and that's despite me giving it a negative review. This is one of the few times in life where they quoted me and I was saying something negative about the game. This is a really slow risk style game. And I said something along the line, if you're a chess player and wanted to bring that same thing into Risk, this is the game for you. You know, and I didn't mean that as a positive thing, but they quoted me on that. And they're really great guys, the Catalyst game guys. And I always appreciate that. But it really is a slow conquer the world style game. Alrighty. So we continue down here. We got Party Pooper. Trivia Pursuit Genus 5. That one's ranked really low. Joomba Disorder. The Game of Snaglets. What does that even mean? I'm very curious. Taki. That's a delicious snack. Mad Cow. Well, I know what that one's about. Decathlon. Kaleido. Bubble Talk. Zone Mastermind for Kids. I want to look at that. Zoneplex. Waterworks. This is one of the most rated games that is this low. And you see I gave it a 2 also. So there's that. And then we'll end looking at 828. That's a bunch of games. So let's get started. Party Pooper. You roll the die. You're going to pick a Party Pooper. And you'll read a scenario. A friend suspects her husband of cheating on her and wants you to follow him and take pictures. And then who would be the most least likely to do something like that? That sounds horrible. It's been a really long time since I played this. But it sounds like this is a one-time game. Let's look at some of these questions if we can read them. A beautiful house overlooking the Pacific Ocean can be yours for $100,000. Downside, it's directly on a fault line. This is a very one-time style game. I wonder if I would give it a 6 today. Trivia Pursuit Genus 5. It's from 2000. Wow, I wonder why it's ranked so low. I love Trivia Pursuit. I enjoy this game, but the mechanics are rubbish. Oh, people, okay, this must be a lot of people's rating of Trivial Pursuit. Joomba. You want to claim as many cards, reveal an animal card, and you have to identify the card that's equal. Yes. Okay. I remember this one. So you turn over a card, and it's like, hey, which animals are 2 of on the next card? Which animals are 3 of? Things like that. It's silly fun for kids. Disorder, a word game. You add a card to the board, and you're going to have to add a letter and risk it all. Basically, I think you can say, can you make a word with the letters that are out there? And you keep playing letters until someone calls your bluff and says you can't make a word with those letters. The game of sniglets. What is a sniglet? What do you call that sticky mixture of Coke syrup and butter, popcorn butter, coast to 4 in movie theaters? Cinemuck. These words that should be in the dictionary but aren't. Oh, okay. So they're basically names for things that you don't know what should be in there. Out of the Box Publishing did a thing of that, and I think I like theirs a lot. This might be okay. Taki from 1985. It's based on Crazy 8, similar to Uno, but with different cards and rules. This is a national mainstay in Israel. All right, well, we learn something new every day. I do like how colorful the cards are, if they would ever show up on my screen here. I guess they're just not going to. There we go. Well, oh, there we go. This looks like a game designed, maybe this is by the electric company. Doesn't that's what the graphics here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Taki. Mad Cow. This is based on the Meow type games. It's basically just a crazy style game in which you one person's the dictator and has special rules, and it's probably too much for a good game. Decathlon from 1972. This is from Avalon Hill. Woo! How can you tell it's from Avalon Hill? Look at the scoring sheets. You know, again, back in the day, I think I would have really enjoyed this, taking a look at all the different things, and you're going to do races. The decathlon is one of the most interesting sports to me. I like the concept of it, and all these stats. This is Decathlon, the war game. Kaleido, this is just a color game in which you're matching different cards that are, as you play them down from your hand, and the cards will have a full color on each side, as you can see down here in this little picture, since the full pictures aren't loading. Or there's wild colors or colors that are 1 or 2 sides to them. There we go. Thank you. Bubble Talk, the crazy caption word game. And yeah, just captions that match pictures. So this kind of game exists out here. There's a ton of these style games out where you're going to put, this matches this. Apples does it. Here you have captions that match the different bubbles from different cartoon characters. And, we'll come back and look at that later. Mastermind for kids. Let's do this. Zoneplex. I remember Zoneplex. Zoneplex was at Board Game Geek Con, and the people came in and they were dressed up like in robes and stuff. They were all in this game. No one does cosplay at Board Game Geek Con, but these folks did. And they were trying to sell this game, and it is, in my opinion, not a very good game. You have this triangle board, and you're moving these pieces up, and it didn't have anything to do with the theme. It was weird, and it has not really aged well. As you can see, not very high up there, but I did not like it at all. There's Mastermind for kids. Oh, it's just 3? I might play that with kids, but I think kids could do 4. I think they could. It's a Bubble Talk picture. There we go. Not sure if my parents are going to... Yeah, wow, this is a one-time use game. I'd rather that people wrote the things in the bubbles. Waterworks, race to build a pipeline. I mean, there's been so many variations on this game here, but the actual Waterworks itself I find to be very mundane. The best thing about Waterworks, the little metal wrenches that come with it. I wish you could find another use. They're like better than most pieces that are out there now, but I hate this game, and I assume many other people do too, which is why it's so low. 8 minus 28, negative 20, or is it 8 to 28? You get one card to look at, and you add the cards to a pile. When no one wants to take any more cards, whoever's closer to 8 and 28 without going over, share the gems. That doesn't sound bad. That sounds fun, actually. It's filler. It's like advanced blackjack. It's a slight twist on blackjack geared more at kids. Basically blackjack. Well, there you go. Alrighty, well, that is what we have found this week in 10,000 and below. The games are probably going to get worse and worse, but you still might find some interesting things. Are there games you'd like to share with people, talk about? Mention them in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Tom Bassel. You've been watching 10,000 and below on the Dice Tower.